We have a lot of entertaining movies and series about time travel, which make us curious. There are many books, articles, and even some proven theories, but our concept of the time machine is still at the initial stage. Even in this concept, there are some things hidden that even great scientists like Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking get scared of. So, what is it about the time machine? Let's find out in today's video. Whenever we talk about movies, what happens there is that the time traveler goes inside a typical time machine, sometimes to the dinosaurs and sometimes to see their own parents' love at first sight. It's amazing. They can reappear anywhere, sometimes in open fields, sometimes near dinosaurs. But instead of calling this exactly time travel, it would be better to call it time teleportation. And in movies, most of the time, what we see is actually teleportation. Scientists don't believe that this concept will work in our real world, but no one completely rejects time travel either. Even the laws of our physics allow for time travel. The real devil appears when we try to understand this concept. Basically, what is time travel? Exactly. When you go from one place to another, we call it distance travel because we are traveling in the spatial dimension. But when we travel in the time dimension, we call it time travel at the speed of 1 second per second. And time travel means that this speed can also change. And believe me, according to special relativity, in the time dimension, your speed depends on how fast you are moving in space. The faster you move in space, the slower your speed will be in time. Apart from this, according to Einstein's general theory of relativity, gravity also affects time. Time also slows down near very massive bodies, like near a neutron star or even near our Earth. However, this effect is minor, but the speed at which time runs in empty space definitely becomes much slower near a massive body compared to that. But if a person is standing at the edge of a black hole, where gravity is extremely strong, a few hours for that person would be equal to thousands of years spent here on Earth. And if that person comes back to Earth, we can say that he has traveled into the future. And this would be completely real, not science fiction, not a paradox, but an absolutely real scenario. In fact, it can be so terrifying that many scientists were frightened just by thinking about this concept. Scientists know that going back in time gives rise to many paradoxes. But even then, scientists have worked on many such ideas that theoretically make going back in time possible. In 1920, a physicist named Fabio Costa presented a time travel scenario to everyone. He imagined a large cylinder in front of him, through which space and time were flowing. Space and time were twisting around that cylindrical object. Several decades later, in 1970, scientists discovered a similar concept called closed time-like curves. Closed time-like curves are a hypothetical trajectory in which, if an observer keeps moving forward in time, at one point he finds himself at the same moment in time where it all began, which creates a loop. Scientists believe that our universe is so vast that such small regions could definitely exist here. Because gravity bends space, such places can easily form in regions of intense gravity. When the idea of closed time-like curves was introduced to the great scientists of that time, when Albert Einstein read about it, he found the idea very disturbing. But this very thing also encouraged many people to research this idea. After 1980, science became completely serious about time travel. During this period, scientists around the world were publishing their research on this subject, and continuous efforts were being made to solve the paradoxes of time travel. Then, in 1990, a new breakthrough came when a Russian physicist, Igor Novikov, and an American physicist, Kip Thorne, together published a dedicated article on closed time-like curves. And in that, they presented an idea for building a time machine and also explained how this machine would actually work. But there was a problem here. They also investigated a problem related to time travel. Suppose you placed a time bomb inside the time machine. It traveled through time and collided with its own past self from 2 minutes earlier and exploded. Now, in this case, the bomb that traveled through time actually exploded 2 minutes earlier. So which bomb did you put in the time machine? What was it? This is a paradox. Slowly, as scientists started working more on time travel, many such paradoxes began to appear before them. These paradoxes kept making their time travel machine ideas fail, and gradually, scientists' interest in this topic started to decrease. Of course, the time travel machine is a curious idea. It might even have potential, but whenever someone tries to go into its details, these paradoxes loom like a mountain in front of them. Scientists believe that time travel requires negative mass, and according to mass energy equivalence, we actually need negative energy because mass and energy are two sides of the same coin. However, no one has found negative mass till today. So scientists believe that time travel must depend on some kind of exotic matter. Because negative mass has not been found anywhere in normal matter, many scientists agree. Wormholes are another prediction of the general theory of relativity, in which a tunnel of space-time connects points in the cosmos. Without negative mass, gravity would collapse the tunnel, making wormholes necessary. We haven't found a way to keep wormholes open yet, but scientists are searching for negative mass in quantum mechanics. Unlimited power supply would be needed. However, we have not yet found any normal matter with negative mass, but scientists are searching for negative mass in quantum mechanics, though it may not be fully possible there either. A wormhole would work in such a way that one end would be in the past and the other in the future. At one end, there would be an intense gravitational field like a black hole to slow down time, and the other end would be in free space. So this way, we can travel through time. So the problem isn't just how to build time travel machines, but the problem is that it's simply not possible to do so. There is something, whether it's on a microscopic scale or on a cosmic scale, that is protecting our past. And on this basis, he proposed the chronology protection conjecture. According to him, it seems that Stephen Hawking said in 1992 that there is some agency that prevents closed time-like curves from forming, which keeps the universe always safe for historians. Stephen Hawking wrote these things in a paper in 1992. The grandfather paradox is quite famous in time travel, but time travel is much more dangerous than that. Now, the grandfather paradox is when Big Boss's grandfather time travels and goes back to his own grandfather's childhood. If he dies in his childhood during an argument there, then where will Big Boss's father come from? And if his father can't exist, then how was Big Boss even born? And if he wasn't even born, then how could he kill his grandfather? So, Big Boss's story ends right here without any conclusion. It is much scarier than that. They say that time travel doesn't just raise questions about paradoxes, causality, and chronology. There's one more thing that it completely destroys, something that might even make us question the existence of humans, and that is free will. Imagine not being able to bring someone you love back to life. Free will, after all. Imagine, if you want to go back in time, science won't stop you. But let's say Big Boss doesn't want you to. If he wanted to kill his grandfather when his grandfather was still a child, then why can't he do that? What is it that will stop him there? And if someone is stopping us, are we really free? That's a very big question. The solution here could be that timelines are different. With every event, the timelines split. We have already learned quite a lot about the other dimensions. There are some higher dimensions that we neither see nor experience. But the time dimension is completely different. Haven't we been able to understand the time dimension yet? This also raises questions about our freedom of choice. Has time been made to work in a completely different way from the other dimensions of our universe? If time is so complex, then how does the mechanism behind it work? We definitely want to travel in time, but before that, we need to understand time very well. But until then, not just time travel and time machines, even time itself will remain a big mystery for us. In 1950, a very strange incident occurred that surprised historians, scientists, and even conspiracy theorists. A group of Italian researchers was being led by Father Pellerino Ernetti. They claimed that they had developed a device so powerful that it could look into the past. This device was so powerful that any moment in history could be seen and heard. They also said that this device was not just for seeing history, but it also had the ability to feel it. This strange event in history is known as the chronovisor incident, and some people even said that it was used to witness events like the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. But now the question arises whether this incident is a reality or just an imagination or a fabricated story. The very idea of peering into the past with such clarity raises a frightening question. Is time travel or any kind of temporal manipulation really possible? Do we think that time travel is limited only to science fiction? Or maybe there are some other ways that have remained hidden from us until now? Or ones that we haven't been able to discover yet? Can these theories ever become reality? Or are they just ideas that play with our minds? The concept of time travel itself is something that forces us to think. And in today's video, we're going on a journey where all your concepts about time might completely change. Imagine that time itself is a huge and complex tree with a solid and strong trunk at its center, which holds the whole structure together and gives rise to many different forms of time travel. Countless branches emerge from this trunk, each branch showing how the main timeline branches out into new paths. These branches twist the fabric of our reality in such a way that we can barely understand it. The concept of time travel isn't as straightforward as we think. We mainly divide it into two parts: forward and backward. That is, moving ahead or going back. Forward means traveling ahead, which we also know as time travel to the future or simply as time travel. But keep in mind that the paths of both types of time travel become even deeper and more complex. So deep that we can't even imagine them. Every turn, every change, every step, and every shift in time in these branch-like timelines has the potential to create something new. It's possible that you may never be able to return to your original, real timeline. You could end up stuck in some random reality forever, and there would be no way out from there. Just thinking about it is scary. Let's begin with forward time travel, a journey straight ahead in time. You might have heard about this before. This is the idea of moving forward within the timeline. Just like when we fast forward a movie reel, we can see everything sooner than we normally would. Exactly. In the same way, by traveling forward in time, we can see upcoming events. But then a very strange question comes to mind. What if we're already experiencing forward time travel right now? How can we confirm which branch of time we are currently a part of? Time travel itself is a mystery, but scientists believe that with time dilation, the concept of time travel can be turned into reality. This concept says that when you travel very fast, so fast that your speed can be compared to the speed of light, time will seem to move slower for you. Whereas for those people who are living a normal life on Earth, time will continue to move at its usual pace. Scientists have also proven the concept of time dilation. So just imagine If you could travel at the speed of light, time would almost stop for you and you would be able to see the future of the whole world. At that time, you might even experience some bitter truths of this universe, and it's possible that you might find out that the future is already predetermined, a destiny that cannot be changed. What if the future is a destination that can never be avoided? No matter how hard you try, and even if you manage to change it, how will it affect your future? Maybe you'll feel like you're trapped in a time loop where escaping feels as impossible as being lost, and where dangerous paradoxes and moral dilemmas challenge your understanding. In the past, even the very fundamental laws of physics of this universe. Can we really bend the fabric of time so that we can reverse whatever has already happened? Some theories suggest that backward time travel might be possible if we find a wormhole or somehow manage to manipulate space-time. But the real fear arises when you prevent a very catastrophic event from happening, like stopping someone from being murdered or averting a natural disaster. As soon as you make any change in the past, the entire reality itself changes, and these small changes later on can lead to a very unexpected result because of them. It might present before us what we call a natural disaster. But what if the timelines start reacting in response to the interference you make in time? Some theories say that the timeline is stable like a big tree. No matter how much you push it, you can't shake it. In the same way, time absorbs all your efforts, and there are some events that don't make any difference to history. The timeline remains as it is. On the other hand, some theories say that the timeline is unstable. It reacts to every change you make, responds to the changes. As soon as you step into the past and try to change anything in the timeline, there will be no change in the already existing past. Instead, the timeline creates a new future in response to that change. It's like a branch that comes out from the main trunk of a tree, which separates from the original timeline. This means that if you tamper with the past, a new timeline is created, and this gives rise to another terrifying possibility. A time loop means a cycle of time within a fixed timeline, no matter how many times you go into the past. You may try to change anything, but nothing will change, and you will be trapped in a terrifying time loop. Suppose you go 50 years back in time to see your grandfather, then this event will keep repeating for eternity. You will meet your grandfather every time, and it will keep happening forever. You will never even realize that you are stuck in this time loop. Just hearing about it sounds really scary, but if you go back in an unstable timeline and make changes, the entire history will change. You will end up in another timeline branching from that same timeline. Both situations are scary, but who knows what other consequences there might be. So, what is a paradox? Whenever we travel to the past, we always have to face paradoxes, and paradoxes confront us with a frightening aspect of time travel. Like in the grandfather paradox, if you go to the past and kill your grandfather when he was just a child, it will completely disrupt the entire future. Because if you kill your grandfather when he was a child, obviously he wouldn't have gotten married or had children, so there's no question of your father existing in this universe. And if your father can't be born, then how could you exist? And if your grandfather died in his childhood, then who did you go to the past to kill? If you don't even exist, then who was it that went to the past to kill your so-called grandfather? It's all just confusion. Apart from this paradox raises the question, are you stuck in an endless loop in a reality where your own existence is clashing with itself? But what's even worse is that if we are already trapped in such a paradox, maybe every time we change the course of events, we just end up in a different version of ourselves. And maybe that's exactly what happens. And we get lost forever in a huge web of timelines filled with countless realities. What if we are part of a game that we know nothing about? Multiverse, time travel. Multiverse is a concept that maybe explains everything, as many theories suggest. That tampering with timelines is what gives birth to the multiverse itself. To put it correctly, parallel worlds. Some people also believe that tampering with timelines isn't necessary. If you travel, it shapes parallel worlds. Every time you travel to the past or the future, your reality also splits according to the timelines. Each time you step into a different reality, a different parallel world. Whatever steps you take there give birth to countless new timelines where things are happening a little differently. In fact, according to this model, you are not changing the main timeline. You will see it, but the main timeline will remain exactly as it has always been. It's like if you travel back in time to kill Hitler before he becomes a dictator. Now, the reality of our world won't change. Hitler was a cruel dictator, and that fact won't change, right? History. And in this way, infinite parallel universes can exist. Don't you think that time travel gives us countless chances to change our past? But maybe there's no real benefit to it. If you also regret that, if only I had done that, I would be at a different place today. Or, if only I could go back and change that moment, even if time travel ever becomes possible, you might change that moment, but it would be in another universe. Here, you would remain exactly the same. This shows that the time that has passed cannot be changed, and the future is already set, which we can't change even if we want to. We have to make the best use of the time we have, because that's where the excitement lies. And as for time travel, it's just like going from one place to another. Let's try to understand the concept of time travel more deeply as we experience it. That maybe we will never truly understand it. Friends, what are your thoughts on this? Are we close to unraveling the mysteries of time travel, or is it a mystery that will always remain hidden from us? The year 2150, human life has now become much better. Science has made great progress, but in all these things, our green world has been sacrificed. Just step outside your house and it literally feels like entire cities are burning. Global warming is at its peak. The sea levels have risen quite high. Cities like Venice are now underwater, and now the whole world is under threat. The government, which was only greedy for power and votes, played the biggest role in bringing the world to this point. But now those governments have collapsed under the weight of their own greed, and there is chaos all over the earth. Science has mastered the art of averting minor dangers, but there are still some things that science cannot control. The situation has gotten out of hand. But what if I tell you that there is a way out of such a situation? You just need to take one step forward. What if we're in a time machine? If we go back in time and stop those crucial events that led to our current situation, Can we, living in the year 2150, reverse climate change and stop the wars going on between different countries? And maybe we can fast forward time and quickly get out of that crisis towards an optimistic and bright future. Don't you think that time travel is a perfect solution? What if I tell you that, contrary to what you're thinking, time travel won't work like that? It won't save us. Instead, things might get even worse because of it. And in today's video, we'll talk about whether trying to save ourselves through time travel could actually turn out to be dangerous for us. Let's talk about the theoretical possibilities of time travel. So how does time travel actually work? Is it just science fiction? Or is there a deeper mystery hidden behind this concept? Let's start with Einstein's theory of relativity. In simple words, Einstein proposed that time is not constant or fixed. This is one of the most important aspects of Einstein's theory and is crucial for understanding the concept of time travel. Do it. We can manipulate it. We can take it in any direction. According to this theory, time is also something like this. We can also tamper with time. When moving at the speed of light, time slows down, which means that if we can move at this speed, then we can time travel. But apart from this, recent research in quantum mechanics has opened the doors to some very strange possibilities. The idea is a path in space-time through which humans can travel in loops, moving from one moment in time to another. Some physicists believe that with the help of these time loops, we will not only be able to go into the future, but also navigate to the past. The late Stephen Hawking, who was one of the greatest scientists of his time, speculated that we could travel through time using wormholes. These wormholes can connect distant points in this universe. In space-time, they work like a shortcut. If we somehow find these wormholes, or if we succeed in creating them, even if wormholes do exist, they will be highly unstable. And entering any such wormhole is as dangerous as surviving an apocalypse. A person can get stuck at any point at any time. And now things get even more interesting here. If time travel is somehow possible, then do we even need to focus on stopping the apocalypse? And by fast forwarding past the collapse of human civilization, ecosystems, and other kinds of disasters, can't we reach a safe future? But we can land at a place where everything has stabilized. If we can't travel to the future with time travel, then our hopes will depend on going to the past, that is, going back in time. Just think about it. By changing some crucial events before a catastrophe begins, we can stop it. All this will be possible for us. For example, we might be able to stop the first atomic bomb dropped by America on Japan. We could stop the Industrial Revolution so that global warming doesn't happen. And maybe we could even stop dangerous political movements that caused unrest in the world. This seems like a perfect solution. That's right. As good as these things seem to us, there's also a terrible and frightening side hidden behind them. Because when you mess with time, you can never be prepared for what is going to come next. But first, let's look at the benefits of time travel and how it can save us from a catastrophe. First, let's take a look at the environmental catastrophes. For example, climate change is the biggest threat faced by human civilization. But what if we could go back in time and stop it before it gets out of control? Wouldn't that be great? Stop that 19th century industrial revolution when factories started polluting the clean air with poison, which changed the Earth's climate forever. What if we could warn the scientists and leaders of that time about the coming catastrophe? Give renewable energy the right priority from the start, convince countries to save the Earth by banning deforestation, Then we could stop this dangerous disaster before it even begins. After this comes the nuclear apocalypse, which creates an atmosphere of terror around the world when tensions rise between two nuclear powers. What if, in 1945, when a nuclear bomb was used on a country for the first time, things had been different? If time travelers went back and interfered in this whole process so that the first bomb was never made, then today the world would be able to live peacefully without any fear. What about politics? What if time travelers went back and changed those exact political movements? When a dictator is coming to power, what if time travelers completely change the game so that the world doesn't have to witness those dark chapters of history? Besides that, there are many other things, like technology is developing with time, so we could go to the future, learn from their mistakes, and fix today. If there are signs of a terrible apocalypse in the future, we could try to prevent it from happening. We could even make arrangements for that in the present. But whatever actions we take, we will definitely have to face their consequences. Will we be able to fully control the outcome of this interference, or are we trying to play with forces beyond our understanding? Now let's talk about the other side of this coin, the dark side of time travel. What will happen when our attempts to change time get out of control? The first and scariest scenario is the risk of the butterfly effect. This idea says that even the smallest change in the past can greatly and unpredictably affect the future. Imagine you go back in time and meet a political leader. You are about to kill the dictator, but you don't realize that unintentionally you've set off a chain of events that will give rise to an even bigger dictator, or maybe a much more devastating war could happen. As a result, the future you are trying to save has become even more terrifying. The country started using biological weapons. This will give rise to events that were never supposed to happen. It's possible that history will be filled with even darker chapters. After this comes the concept of time loops. You go back in time to try to stop the apocalypse, but when you return to the future, you realize that it was your own actions that caused it. So you go back again and try to stop it, but because of your interference, every time an apocalypse is triggered, and in this way you get stuck in a loop, going to the past every time to save the future. Each time you realize that it's you who is triggering the apocalypse again and again. Just thinking about it is really scary. And of course, we can't forget about paradoxes. The grandfather paradox is the most classic example of this. You go to the past to meet your grandfather, but during an argument, you accidentally kill your grandfather when he was a child. So if your grandfather never existed and he never got married, then how could your father or you even exist? These paradoxes not only break the rules of time, but they also raise questions about reality itself. Many scientists believe that if such a paradox ever happens, it would completely destroy time, space, and reality. But the risks don't end here. The ethical implications associated with time travel are the most dangerous. If we gain the power of time travel and the ability to change the past, then who will decide what should be changed? This role would be nothing less than that of a god. If governments and powerful corporations gain control over time, they will write history according to their needs, erasing anything and anyone from history. Isn't this concept terrifying? Even if we assume that time travel will be in safe hands, who will decide which changes are right to make? the changes that seem right to us. It's possible that tomorrow, that very change could appear before us as a great disaster. This way, we'll just end up stuck in the same time loop again. Power and control are the scariest parts of time travel. Who will have control over it? Governments, corporations, some scientists, or even some underground organization. Controlling time itself would be a war in itself. The power to change the past and the ability to alter the future are no less dangerous than a deadly weapon. This could change the world. Governments could use this to erase their own tainted history, cover up their mistakes, and even create a false history for the opposition party. Then elections will become meaningless. Whoever controls time will be God. Just think about it, if control of time travel falls into the wrong hands, what will happen to the truth? How will anyone know what actually happened in the past? Historical records can be changed, memories can be wiped out, and even entire civilizations can disappear, and no one would even realize it. In such a world, the very foundation of reality would become weak. Whoever controls time would also be able to control reality. But beyond politics and power, there will always be a moral dilemma regarding time travel. Who will decide which event should be changed? Who will determine what is good or bad for the future? Should we prevent a catastrophe and save millions of lives? Or should we let things continue as they are for the sake of peace in the future? These are some questions that would make even intellectuals think deeply. Here, it's also important to consider individuals. Suppose you are the supreme leader of an organization that controls time travel. So you also have the power to go back to the past whenever you want and save someone close to you. But in return, millions of lives will be lost. So would you do that? Or would anyone do that? This personal element makes time travel even more dangerous. When emotions and personal desires take over a person, decisions become even more dangerous. And the consequences are nothing less than a catastrophe. What do you think? Can time travel really save us from a catastrophe? The answer is not that simple. Going forward in time and going back to make changes can create many dangerous situations. There are many paradoxes that prevent us from doing so. Even if we do make changes, there's no guarantee that the future will turn out the way we imagined. Friends, let us know your thoughts about this in the comments section. If you like this video, be sure to like it and share it with your friends. For more informative videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on bell notifications. Friends, see you again soon with another informative video like this. Until then, stay curious, be happy, and goodbye.